Hey folks, Blackross here, and welcome to a new entry into the video series known as just Blackross. This is just usually a video entry of basically just random videos that I felt like wanted to talk about, more personal me, so on and so forth. Anyway, I wanted to do this video for two main factors. One, to get a jump start on the Blackross playlist or whatever. But the second reason is that I started noticing a couple of my favorite YouTubers doing PlayStation 5 collections. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. That's my PlayStation 5 collection right there. Compared to theirs, this is unimpressive. But whenever I was watching those the videos, I was like, there was a trend going on that I noticed, and that was the fact that almost 50 to 60% of the games that they had in their collection, which they had 100 plus. Excuse me. 100 plus 100 plus PlayStation 5 games and stuff, and it was like they hadn't even played them. It is like okay, at least I'm doing better in that department. It is like I want to say at least in terms of like what you see here, which is like I think I counted it as like 23 in total. I think at least 90 to 95, depending on how you look at the ratio, I have beaten. Platinum, I don't recall how many I've platinum. I know it's a fair amount, but I don't think I platinum all of them per se. Because some of them I have platinum because I really love that game, and some of them I'm platinum because I was like, I really don't want to go that deep into platinum and stuff like that. But with that being said, though, I was just kind of like, well, I'll do a PlayStation 5 collect video because obviously, number one, it's not that impressive. But number two, I'm going to format it a little bit differently. Obviously, I'm going to talk about the ones that I do have right now. But then I plan on talking about the stuff that either are already out or that will be released at a eventual point. But also talk a little bit more about the PlayStation 5 itself. So we'll get ready and do the collect video now. So just to give you an idea as to how small my collection actually is, I can actually hold it in front of you. Like, that's my entire collection of PlayStation 5s. And I'm not downing anybody that has a bigger collection. No, I'm not. It's just, I have a certain taste of games that I'm wanting to play. And obviously, these are the games that I've been either really wanting to play or games that I loved that I have played and stuff like that. And it's hard to describe it. But I would argue and say that the PlayStation 5, while yes, hardware-wise and performance-wise has been really good, developing for games have been slightly lackluster in terms of like how much it is required to make the games work and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of stuff that has to be put into, a lot of detail, a lot of atmospheric detail, and all this stuff obviously takes a lot of time in order to develop games for and everything. But we'll go ahead and kind of do a quick rundown of all the games that I do have in my collection. So, first and foremost, a duo set, the Katamari games. Once Upon a Katamari, and then We Love Katamari Royal Edition. For those that don't know, I have gotten into the Katamari Damacy series for the past couple of years. I think since I did a playthrough on my PlayStation 2 Legacy, because years ago, I ended up, whenever it first came out, when I played a demo of it, it seemed a little bit too difficult for me at the time. And I was like, I kind of like the quirkiness, but the gameplay is definitely a challenge. Versus years later, whenever I replayed it for the PlayStation 2 Legacy, I was like, hey, this game actually has something. This is actually really good. On to the next game. Unicorn Overlord. This was a really fun tactical RPG. I love the atmosphere. I love the style of gameplay where you're obviously moving your pieces into battle. And then, of course, you can go into this turn-based style combat with all of your characters fighting against each other and stuff like that. And then you're rearranging the pieces in terms of each unit to figure out what would be the best way to distribute the most damage and stuff like that. You know, whatever the best tactical way of getting through the game and stuff. And I really enjoy it. Still Rising. A Souls-like game, and probably one of the good ones that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed the story of this one, but the combat was actually really fluid. I really enjoy it. It was one of those things where it's like I was wanting like a mech style Souls-like game, and it was like I wasn't seeing enough of it. This one was a really good one, and it's basically a Victorian style atmosphere, which I really enjoy that. Solstice, I do believe I pronounced it right, but this is also, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, another Souls-like game. I still need to play this one. I bought this shortly after getting my PlayStation 5, and I still need to play this, so that's one game that I still need to play. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. This is the updated version of Shin Megami Tensei 5, more specifically a, what would you call it? An enhanced edition? Added edition? Whatever edition you want to call it. This is the extra... I'm trying to make certain the light doesn't glare on it. It's kind of hard to. But, Vengeance. So, I played Shin Megami Tensei 5, the Nintendo Switch version, which, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I will still keep the Switch version, because I love the cover of it, especially considering the fact of this. Like, this is really cool. I love this. I love this. But obviously, with Vengeance, it's an updated game. Obviously, able to play on all consoles, not just on the Switch. So it's able to take in all the performance issue that I may have had with the original 5 and enhance it. But there's also a new storyline that goes along with this. I have not done it yet. I would like to eventually. Probably eventually this year I will. Because I'm wanting to get back into traditional RPGs again. So we'll see how that goes. I ordered this on Amazon. And specifically on Amazon, it had the rated... I believe it was rated T. I want to say it was rated teen. But it had the American-style rating system. This is... I want to say this is Europe rating system. And I'm like... I mean, I know it can still play on the system, and it's still like English translation and stuff like that. That's not a big issue. But when I order something, I expect it to be whatever it was that I saw the image of. And this was Amazon. Amazon, it's like one of the only websites that I can actually order new games on and stuff like that. But my biggest issue right now, at this rate, is that every single time I get a copy, brand new, when I get a copy, for some reason, it's loose from the case. And I'm like, why? Why is it always loose in the case and it's brand new? But this was like a more recent one. And it's only been one so far. So I'm not going to complain that much. But it did have the English, I say English, American rating system on the case, on the picture, on the image. And that's what I got. But back to the game itself. Sandland. I was really impressed with this game. I really loved what they did with this one. It translated so well as an actual open world game, and I absolutely love it. I would argue and say, because there's obvious games that's like, it does better as just a TV series or an animation type thing, and not a game. But that was one of the very few where it's like, media to game translated really well. But then again, to be fair, this was literally, and you'll have to pardon me for not remembering the guy's name. It's terrible. I'm terrible. I know, I'm terrible. He's the same guy that did like Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, the Dragon Quest games as well. Legendary artist, recently passed away a couple years ago. But this was like one of the last things he did. And it was like, that was really cool. And I absolutely love the game. Oh, wait. Akira Toriyama, that's right, Akira Toriyama. It says right there on the box. Thank goodness it said it on there. I feel a little bit better now. But anyway, so yeah, I really loved the game. Thought it was really cool. Loved it. So, while I didn't get the PlayStation 5 at launch, this would have been one of the main reasons why I would have gotten a PlayStation 5. Because Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is a really solid game. Really, really good. And I hate the fact that we're not going to get another Ratchet & Clank game until, obviously, according to what's been rumored, the PlayStation 6. Still years away. And it's like, I get why, because obviously this is a system seller now for Sony. But it's like, they did so good with Rift Apart. They did such an amazing job. I absolutely love the game. I love the gameplay. And it's just, oh my gosh. I just can't get over how many years it's been since the original Ratchet and Clank game we had, and then going all the way up to the PlayStation 5. And it's just, it still astounds me to this day. Now this one, I've played the original PlayStation 2 version of this. And that is, I'm going to try to pronounce his name right. Ryodo Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army. This was a PlayStation 2 original game, remastered and redone for current consoles. There's a lot of new added stuff on here. For example, the original, I would have to do a PlayStation 2 Legacy episode of this one eventually, but the original first one only had him and then another demon with him. In this version, you get to have two demons, which was not introduced until the second one of this one, which was the, I do have it actually, which is Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Ryo Kusa versus King Abon. My pronunciation is terrible. Does not help the fact that I am losing my voice as we speak. It's like, I'm feeling better. I swear, I am feeling better, but my voice has not returned to me. It sucks. I hate it. I hate it. But I want to play the remaster thing, because I obviously want to see what difference they've done. Obviously, other than adding an extra demon to the battlefield, but I also want to see what other different stuff they've added to it and stuff like that. I think one of the things is that it also features voice acting. I may be wrong, but I cannot wait to go into it. But speaking of Atlas and Shin Megami Tensei stuff of that nature, this is a bold claim. I will admit, it's a bold claim. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be like, oh, well, what about this game? What about this game? What about... I understand. What I'm going to say is going to be very bold. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. The best JRPG, maybe even the best RPG that we've had this generation. Metaphor ReFantazio. I absolutely love this game. This was literally by far a game that kind of started growing as it got released and stuff like that. And obviously it had a trouble development. Obviously when it first got introduced, it was named something else. And it was like, okay, when is this? And we kind of forgot about it. And then it finally came out as Metaphor ReFantazio. And it's like, okay, interesting. And then when we start playing the game, we're like, okay, I take everything back about it. I love it. And I love the story. The story is really good in Metaphor ReFantazio. Obviously, it's still hanged on to the Persona-esque style of format, but in a fantasy style format. And I love the story, the unique ideal that they had with it. Obviously, yeah, it's been done in some media, but it's not done enough to where you get to enjoy it as much. You know what I mean? Like, this was an interesting take on reclaiming the throne, going through trying to take on the title as king and everything. It was just, oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. So, yeah. Now, I did play this one. I have not done a review of it. I'm going to hold my thoughts on it until I can do a review of it. Until I can get my voice back, that is, per se. We'll see. But, Lost Soul aside, this has been an interesting development game, what it has been. It originally started as a solo project years ago. It was a single person who made the game. And then Sony, in response to its China Hero project that they have made this into a Sony exclusive title, and it is also a AAA title. Might have been the wrong move for Sony to say. This is probably arguably a AA, and in my personal opinion, I actually enjoy the game. I beaten it, I loved it, I thought it was really good. Obviously, I waited for playing it a couple of months later because when it first came out, it had a few little problems. And as the past couple of months has went by, it has had improvement upon improvement upon improvement, updates and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait a little bit until after the holidays, and then I'll play this game. And I did finally play it, and I love it. So, I will do a full-on depth review of that one later on, but we will continue on. Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. Now, I have not played this one. I do plan on playing it eventually. It was funny. After watching the Hobbit films, I was like, okay, I wonder if there's any video games involving dwarves. And I saw this, and I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. I want to play this. So I do hope to play it eventually at some point in time. We'll see. Lies of P. A Souls-like game, and one of the ones that I was anticipated for a long time. And I have to say, really good. This is a really good one. If you enjoy dark fantasy, I guess Victorian style, steampunk aesthetics in a way, this will fill all of your checks. This is really good. I still need to play through the DLC that was released for it. I have not played the DLC, but I did beat the game and I love this. I love it. God of War Ragnarok. I have not beaten it. I have not played it yet. I know. I played the God of War 2018 is what it's referred to, but God of War regardless. But I have not played Ragnarok yet. I will at some point in time. I know. You don't have to say anything. I promise I will play this eventually. Because I did enjoy the last God of War. So hopefully that one will do just as well. Final Fantasy 16. Really good. I really loved it, 16. 16, it translated well as like an actual hack and slash game. And I thought they did really well with it. Obviously, there's a lot of people who will be like hating on it and being like, I wish it would have returned to turn-based style. We're still getting turn-based game, guys. We're still getting turn-based games. It just, Final Fantasy is a main title seller for not Sony, Square Enix. And it's like, yeah, I get the outrage, but Final Fantasy has always had a record of being different each entry, while the gameplay has somewhat stayed the same. It's always introduced as something different, something unique. And I think it was ever since 15, we had a major dramatic change up in terms of gameplay, from where it was turn-based to more action-oriented. And this format is no different. It is extremely different and extremely unique, and I enjoy it. I both enjoy the story and the gameplay of it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't think I have to say anything, but this was really good. It was like, how do you top Final Fantasy VII Remake? How do you top that for Part 2? You take it out on the open road. That's basically the synopsis, and because of it, it made it that much better. It made it bigger, it made it more in-depth. The story was really good, just like how it was in Remake. It was really good, really solid. Admittedly, yes, there was a lot of mini-games, but after you kind of glance over the mini-games and stuff like that, it's not that bad. The game is actually really good and still stands out as being another great seller for Square Enix. When Part 3 will come out, who knows? Still waiting on Kingdom Hearts 4 though, regardless. Epic Mickey Rebrush. I am so glad we got a remaster of Epic Mickey in a way. And it's like, this played really, really good. It played really, really nice. And it was just so nice to play through Epic Mickey again. And I know people are going to be like, there seems to be a trend going on here, right? Yes, there's a lot of remasters. But regardless, I'm glad we get them. And speaking of remasters, or remakes in this case, Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. I got this for Christmas. I am looking forward to playing this. I do not have Dragon Quest 1 and 2 yet. I will at some point in time. I do want to play through these games, because these games look amazing. Not only that, but they're also made by the same people who did like Octopath Traveler, you know, in that same style of graphics and stuff like that. And I love that style. It is so cool. It is so unique. I can't wait to play that. Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, I admit that I wasn't that big with Dragon's Dogma 2. I admit I kind of downed it a little bit and stuff like that. It's still good, and performance-wise, it's really amazing. But comparative to what I was hoping for in terms of like more improvements in terms of gameplay and stuff like that. I didn't really get that, sadly. I don't know. I still hang on to it because I still think it has potential. I still think it has potential, especially considering the fact there's so many different jobs, applicants that you can upgrade your character to and stuff like that. So many different unique stuff that you can do and everything like that. If I do go back to playing through Dragon's Dogma 2, I want to look up an actual, like, full-on, full-depth guide of, like, all the side quests that are available in the game. There are more side quests to this game. I know there is. I just had a hard time trying to find some of them. So, yeah, I will admit that. But comparative to, like, the first one, that one was okay to a degree, but it was still really solid in a lot of areas. It did really good in a lot of stuff in terms of, like, performance and how the gameplay plays and stuff like that. Demon's Souls. This is a remake of the original Demon's Souls that was released for the PlayStation 3. I'm glad it got a remake. I'm glad it got the love that it deserves because it looks amazing. It plays amazing. And I have nothing else to say except for the fact, another great game. This game I've been thinking a lot recently. I've been thinking of this game a lot. And it's one of those things where it's like, I know it's also released for the PlayStation 4 and PC as well, but it's like, after playing this one, this was so good. This was so good. Clash Artifact of Chaos. I have said this before, and I'm going to say it again. This is the Dark Crystal of the PlayStation 5. Or at least this generation, per se. This is the Dark Crystal of this generation. And I say the Dark Crystal because when you think of all the other media movies that we've seen and stuff like that, Dark Crystal is this abstract, weird world. So uniquely weird, but you're so fascinated by the world that Jim Henson created that you just kind of got absorbed into. And this is that game. It's that. The creatures and the design that they have are unique. Seto is really cool. The gameplay is solid. And I love the ritual mechanic. The ritual mechanic is so unique in my personal opinion because you can either become stronger or you become extremely handicapped, depending on the side effects that your opponent deals to you and stuff like that. It is so unique of a game, and in my personal opinion, I would recommend anybody that's like, I want to find something different. Oh, this is different. This is very different, and you will enjoy it. Another good one, Blades of Fire. Somewhat of a Souls-light rather than Souls-esque. This is Souls-light in a way. But I love the story. I love the gameplay mechanic, and I love the fact that you actually build each individual blade into a unique blade of your own signature style. I love what they've done with this game. This is literally an amazing game. If you enjoyed like Forge and Fire and stuff like that, you're going to play this and be like, oh yeah, Forge and Fire, the game. But this is just a really good story, really good gameplay, and just, oh, this is a really good one. Really good one. Solid title. And the last PlayStation 5 game that I have in my collection, I think some of you know what it is. If you don't know, here's a hint. It features a monkey. Black Myth Wukong. Oh my gosh. One of my most anticipated titles of this generation. And it's so good. It was so good. It did so well. It had so many checks for me. It was like, I didn't care how hard the game was. The game was so fun. It was so unique. The gameplay was so entertaining. And as soon as it was fixing to come out, they said, oh, it will feature 80 bosses. You already had my attention before, guys. You don't need to pull me into it any deeper than you have. But as soon as it said up to 80 bosses, I'm like, hang on. Excuse me? What? Because it was just, oh my gosh, it was so fun. Just to fight all the different bosses, to fight all the enemies, and fight as Wukong, the gameplay style of Wukong himself. It's so good. I loved it. I cannot wait for the next Black Myth game that they release, which is Song Q, I believe is how it's pronounced. I hope I got that right. But yeah, if we took a quick scenario synopsis of all the PlayStation 5 games that I have in my collection So let me see if I can synopsis it for you. We have 7 games that are remasters. 21, 22, 23, yeah. Like I said, 23 PlayStation 5 games. And I know that's not a lot compared to some of these other YouTubers and stuff like that, but these are all games that I've either really wanted to play or that I was really excited to want to play and stuff like that. And obviously, out of all of them, there are 7 of them that I still need to play. Which is actually a pretty good track record when you think of. 7 out of 23 that still need to play. The rest of them I have played and beaten and stuff. So it's like, yeah, I think I got a pretty good track record compared to most. But then again, as you get more and more games, it does get a little complicated and stuff like that. But I figure I'd do another segment for this, and that is to talk about the games that are coming out for the PlayStation 5, or have been released for the PlayStation 5, of games that I'm wanting to get and stuff like that. So of the games, we have Dragon Quest 1 and 2, Gundam Breaker 4, Dynasty Warriors Origins, Snoopy the Great Mystery Club, Balatro, Fanastian Neo Dimension, I believe is what it is, Octopath Traveler 2, Tactics Ogre Reborn, Octopath Traveler, Digimon Story Time Stranger, Tales of Ixiel Remaster, Suikoden 1 and 2 Remaster, and then Star Ocean The Second Story R. Now, those are the games that are already out as of right now. But as for like upcoming titles and stuff like that, there's obviously potential Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, Kingdom Hearts 4, whenever that gets done. And then, of course, later on this year, we're actually supposed to get Beast of Reincarnation in the summer, so that's going to be interesting. Currently, right now, I can't think of any other ones that are like, you know, either coming up this year or any other titles that I'm either excited for and stuff like that. Obviously, there's still a whole bunch of other PlayStation 5 games, but these are like PlayStation 5 games that I really wanted to play, and I felt like could really play well on this generation of console. Now, I know there's going to be some people that might ask me this question, so I'm going to answer it for you. There's not many games that are on the PlayStation 4 that I'm wanting to carry over to the PlayStation 5, because either A, I feel like they perform just well on the PlayStation 4, or 2, it's like, I don't think it would benefit that well. There's only 2 that I feel like would be necessary to have a PlayStation 5 version of that game. Obviously, there's Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which that one obviously is an enhanced version of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Also, it's the only one that has the DLC, with the exception of the PSP and obviously the Nintendo Switch 2 version that's coming up later on, I believe I've heard. But yeah, it's like Integrate would be one that I would want to get. And then, of course, The Witcher 3. I played The Witcher 3 on the PlayStation 4, and then, of course, obviously I did a Let's Play on my Favorite Games channel on the PlayStation 5 version. And yeah, it's like, if I had a choice, I would definitely get a physical version of Witcher 3 for the PlayStation 5, because, again, that game looks amazing, and it would do extremely well put it on to the PlayStation 5. So yeah, if I have any other ones, obviously those 2 would be ones that I would get. Obviously, I mentioned the titles that are already available that I do want to get for PlayStation 5 and stuff like that. And then, of course, obviously later on within the years, there will be more PlayStation 5. Although I do have one small thing that I want to talk about, and I know is something that I have mentioned in the past. Regardless, I feel like I'm going to mention it anyway. It is still too early for a new system. There's been rumors going on about the PlayStation 6. I feel like at this point in time right now, there's nothing else you can do to enhance the game other than, like, obviously some minor performance measures, you know? Whatever was wrong with the PlayStation 5, which I have a hard time trying to find any, with the exception of, like, depending on your library of games, maybe not that full of a library, or depending on it, probably potentially, it's hard for me to say. For me, I feel like it's too powerful. I feel like they need to dumb it down a little bit to where it's not so enhanced. Like, I feel like the controller itself is a little bit too much, you know? Like, there's too many features that the controller has that really aren't necessary. And because of those enhanced reasons, it makes it harder to enjoy some of these personal favorite games that I have that feature those crucial features that's the controller itself. And it's like, we don't need those features, but yet they're part of it. So it kind of sucks. I kind of wish they would make the game for what it is and not force enhancements to the controller itself and force it onto the game itself, because I feel like that hurts it. It's sort of the same way with how the Wii U was, you know? Obviously, they didn't force it as heavily later on as the system continued, but at the beginning, the Wii U gamepad was forcefully put into the development of the Wii U. So outside of that, I don't think there's nothing else that they can do with it, really. Like, I'm serious. What else can you do? We've reached that end cycle of, like, development of, okay, how farther can we push the games? Now I feel like we can do whatever we want with the game, and it's just up to the developer how they want to develop it. If they require more power, that's probably a developer problem. But if the developer feels like they have absolute full control of the development and they have no restraints, then yeah, what else can you do, really, in all honesty? I don't see anything that you could do for the next generation. And to me, personally, we could easily wait another 5 years. We could. And it would not hurt anybody. I feel like at this point in time right now, a new console system is... I mean, yeah, I know why they're doing it. But at the same time, too, it's going to be hard to sell the next console knowing that there's nothing really major going on in terms of performance. That's just me, personally. I feel like that's just a me thing. I know for developers and stuff like that, they feel like there's some improvements that could be made. But of those performance stuff and everything like that, it's hard for me to notice, really, in all honesty. If nothing else, it feels like an upgraded PlayStation 4, but very few games actually push the hardware to its limits. And of those games, you know what they are. Of those games, you see where that push comes from and stuff like that. But at this point in time right now, what else can you do? It's kind of hard to say. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here, but let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite PlayStation 5 game that you have played so far this generation? Let me know in the comments below, and I shall see you in the next video, hopefully where I have a normal speaking voice. Thank you so much for watching. See you next video, guys.